Now we're on alliances and joint ventures. And again, this is a tab that we can go straight down the list, and it's very straightforward. How many alliances or joint ventures do you currently have with other businesses or services? If there's any, explain what you have and their effect on your business. Even before you start in this section, you want to be able to think, is it possible for this client to have alliances or joint ventures? And if you can come in with some ideas, it's even more helpful. So here's a great question. How many pre-existing groups of prospects are you aware of that have an already existing need for your product or service? And this kind of starts the brainstorming, and perhaps a lot of ideas for different types of alliances and joint ventures will open up. Now, if there's any, if we could tap into that group, what impact would that have on your sales revenue? It's really hard to gauge a number here, but for consistently, I'll put 3%. And you might just have to keep going to actually find the impact here, and that's okay. So here's a good question. Who benefits a lot when you're successful? What products or services do people normally buy before, during, and after they do business with you? So I think of someone perhaps like a wedding would be a very easy example. Person signs up for wedding photography, but you know that they also might need video. They need flowers, there's dresses, there's hair, there's salons, there's presents, there's gifts, there's all kinds of things. These are kind of the things that people buy before, during, and after. There's catering for the wedding. This is the kind of ideas we're thinking. What non-competitive businesses serve your target market that you might be able to form an alliance with? Again, a wedding photographer can form alliances with caterers and jewelers and the salons and the florists and all those, and actually profit when they do business together. Now, if any, if you could form an alliance with one or more of these groups, what impact would that have on your sales revenue? And that's where you might more likely find the impact. And we've already done 3%, so we won't do any more. How many salespeople or organizations are you currently connected with that serve your target market? You know, perhaps one company has a sales force and you don't, but you want to harness that sales force, and they're already serving your target market, so perhaps you could work with them and give them an incentive to sell your product or service when they're finished selling their own, either if they've made a sale or if they haven't. Now, if you could harness these salespeople, what's the impact? Who could give your product or service away as a premium? Obviously, you'll ask that only if it's applicable. If any, if you could form an alliance with one or more of these groups, what impact would that have? What would be the impact if you had a system to add a new joint venture partner, maybe 4 times a year, who was either promoting your product or service, or one that you were promoting their product or service to your customers and you were making a strong commission from each? So we've just added 3%, and it again updates in the bottom, but also on the final, on the profit calculator. So let's just go back to that profit calculator. As a review, we see that we've worked in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 areas. We've only put 3% in each. We have a 19.4% cumulative impact. The impact on actual profits is 39%. And if we were to go over to the ROI and consulting services, we see that we're already 270% for the most expensive service, if that's your number. So that's the beauty of this profit calculator. We've found 6 areas of only 3% each. These are minor, small changes that you can help them implement, and they're going to see a strong return on investment.